The next adaptation that actually is directly from the Robber Bridegroom is The Robber Bride, which was made into a TV movie starring the mother from Weeds. In this scene, we see her entering, and the whole, appearance is deceiving, and I think he's the victim, or I think he might be the actual girl version. This adaptation was really hard to find, and wasn't even able to find all that much information on it, fortunately. But I find that when I first heard about this tale, this sex reversal, I was put off by the fact that, this tale, what I liked about The Robber's Bride is that, the two women figure of this were, these, they outwitted the bad guy, and they're not seen as flawed. Most women in the Grimm tales are deeply flawed, but these two aren't. Not the old lady or the girl, the bride. She trusts her instinct, and in this, they've reversed it. I feel like maybe the reason for it is sort of like what Winona's writer is saying in the movie Sex and Love, or Sex and Death 101.
A woman being able to put a man down like a dog for being bad, or for no reason at all. Well, women have had to deal with the anytime, anywhere, dark impulses of men for hours. I thought it's time to make the men shake in their boots for a while.
Oh no, I feel like this, again, is another adaptation that sort of strays from the core source material, even though it, again, carries its name. Now, the movie Fear doesn't really have out directly many things that seem to be in common with The Robber's Bridegroom, but the overall theme of, appearances can be deceiving, and the idea that, a guy showing his true colors behind closed doors, which is what this whole movie's about, and it's about a abusive relationship with a guy who, in this scene, seems pretty normal. He's charming, being played by Mark Wahlberg in one of his early roles. Here, she expresses that she, thought, had that intuition that, he may not be totally safe, but, he tricked her into thinking that she was. And that is her flaw in this movie, which separates her from the girl in the tale. But, in here we see him starting to be sort of nuts and really off the deep end, and the scary monster that is clearly lurking behind his pretty face. So even though this tale doesn't have, this movie doesn't have bandits or, ash trails or lentils, I think the theme of, the overwhelming theme looks being deceiving, and that what lurks beneath the surface may not be pleasant. Like it is, it could go either way. Ugly guys can be sweet and charming and might actually turn out to be not what you thought before, and charming guys who seem attractive and pretty might actually turn out to be quite gruesome and monstrous, as seen by Mark Wahlberg's depiction of screaming. So for the final portion of the video, I'm going to be talking about Disney Beauty and the Beast and how it connects to the Robber Bridegroom. I feel of all the adaptations that have made it to the screen, this movie actually is the closest to having the same sort of themes as the original tale that I'm talking about. Having appearances being misleading, and the warning against man and, escaping this sort of abuse. Mostly focusing on the character of Gaston, who is basically a man who is a beast, versus, the beast who is really a man. We start out with, in this clip here, with him meeting Belle. We're first introduced to Gaston, shooting ducks and being spun over by 3 blonde girls who, and he introduces him and promptly insults Belle on multiple occasions, despite the fact that he's trying to woo her. Maybe not quite as suave as the bandit in the Robber's Bridegroom, who at least managed to get the favor of the girl. Well, actually, no, because her father did it, but to be honest, I don't think Belle's father would have had him told her to marry Gaston anyway. This is interesting, the way that Gaston treats Belle, especially here in the marriage proposal, is complete with disrespect, and he views her as a subordinate. Not unlike Bluebeard, who basically told his wife that he cannot go into this room, handed her a key, and basically told her to blindly follow him. This is sort of like what Gaston is basically saying to Belle, who basically wants no part of it. This shows a huge contrast to the Beast, who, we can see actually expression, emotion, and giving her a library and things that she's passionate about and listening to her. The scene where they're bickering here shows that, that she's not his subordinate, she's his equal, because, she's fighting back. She's, their relationship is, despite the fact that, he has anger issues, is more equal than what Gaston is trying to do. And it's come to the point where, he starts to get more and more, shows more and more of this, robberish, bandit like persona, where he, he's getting the help, he's sitting singing with all his crazy friends who are boasting his already humongous ego, singing about decorating, and basically where he comes up with this idea. Here he is going to, basically use Belle's father against her and force her to marry him. And his, his true colors are really starting to show more and more. When he's talking to the insane asylum director, he's slowly getting more and more dark, and as the Beast becomes more and more, gentle and kind, Gaston goes totally in the opposite direction. I mean, he was pretty bad in the beginning, then he just gets worse and worse, and then now he's leading a mob, to the castle just to destroy people, even though he, Belle's already expressed that this guy isn't bad. He's just like, nope, just a evil son of a bitch, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna kill him. And he's, he's gonna basically cold-heartedly kill this guy, and, even in the scene where the beast here is sparing him, the beast lets him go, and then he stabs him, like, in the back. These are all elements that kind of go back to this idea that, you know, Gaston is the real monster. And the beast who spared him is truly the man. Now, Gaston falls to his death. So, overall, this movie is the closest adaptation to the Robber Bridegroom tale because of characters like Gaston and the fact that there's even the forbidden room in the beginning with the beast. So in the end, our best adaptation comes from the Disney Beauty and the Beast, because all the other versions that I've shown you, whether it be based, claiming to be based on it, or a different version of the tale, the themes that come from, the monster inside the man's skin is expressed most, like the best through Gaston. All the other characters, Mark Wahlberg was pretty high up on there on the list, but the fact that the girl, this abusive relationship is definitely there. It's a close second, but Gaston, because there's that, the movie expresses, shows the parallels so well between, the anti-beast and the beast. So that's my video portion of my essay. Connecting to the fact that, as a rehash again, that the Robber Bridegroom, in its core, is about appearances being deceiving, and the monster inside in the man, and that it's a story about escaping a band of murderers coming out in 10, and the girl in the story tricks and wins, basically turns the tide on the bandit, and that is probably the most endearing, that the fact that the two women in the story are not flawed the way that other women are, or even other heroes are in other Grimm tales. She turns the tide on him and he dies, like Gaston. So I hope you liked my video portion. I hope it was acceptable. And I hope I was convincing in my theories on that the true theme behind The Robber Bridegroom is appearances being deceiving.